Ooh, look at all that trash in the background. All that stuff on the...
A little airplane.
A little airplane.
Airplane.
Not trash.
Hey, Derek right here from freedomcallingRV.com, and today we're going to talk about the 5 things we learned from salesmen at the Hershey, Pennsylvania RV show, which is the largest RV show in the world. Stick around and we'll get right to them. This weekend on the way to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Stephanie pulled up her phone and she said, hey, it's the last day of the Hershey RV show. And I said, well, why don't we just try to make it? So we reverted our plans, or we reverted our... All right. Okay, you said you can come say hi on here, but don't yell. Come here. Oh, you gotta say hi. There you go. All right, so
Hi.
you can wait. Bye. All right. So the first thing that we learned at the RV show, remember we were there on the very last day. I'll get to that in just a second. So the very first thing that we learned at the RV show, manufacturing companies actually loan out RVs and coaches to dealers just to bring them to this show, just to bring the coaches in the RVs to this show. What that means is the dealers don't have to pay for these rigs while they're at the show. However, if they don't sell them at the show, then they have to cut a check to the manufacturing company for the rig. So we'll talk about this in a little while. You can see how there's incentive to actually sell these rigs at the show, which is very important, especially if you're looking for a brand new rig. How it usually works is when dealers have capital, they usually have a cap line, or maybe they just have the cash to buy these units. They contact the manufacturer and they say, hey, I want to buy X amount of rigs from you. And the more rigs that they buy, the better unit price they're going to get. So if they buy more units, they actually get a discount. So that's how it usually works. So it was kind of interesting to see or to hear that at these shows, these large shows, or at least the one at Hershey, Pennsylvania, they don't have to pay anything for these rigs. They are on loan from the manufacturer. So there's a couple pluses to that. One, the manufacturer actually gets free exposure. All the people at these RV shows, or at least the Hershey, Pennsylvania show, they're going to see their new model of rig. They're going to be able to get to tour it. So it's free exposure for the manufacturer, and it's also a great deal for the RV dealer because they don't have to front the capital to actually put that unit on their lot. They actually get it for free. And while it's at the show, it's free. But if they leave the show, if they don't sell that unit at the show, then they have to cut a check to the manufacturing company for that rig. So they want to sell it. So I've already hinted to this, but the second thing we learned was RV dealers don't actually have to pay for that unit, for that coach, that RV, unless they don't sell it at the show. So on the last day of the show, after the show, if they don't sell this unit, then they have to cut a check to the manufacturing company for that unit. So you can see how there's an incentive to sell while they're at the show because they don't want to take that unit back home because then they have to cut fat checks to the manufacturer. Money. What was I saying again? All right. So the third thing that we learned at the RV show, which was not that eye-opening. We kind of already knew this, but we haven't paid that much attention to it. But we thought it'd be worth mentioning here. There are 3 ways, and only 3 ways, a dealer can make money when selling you an RV. Now, one of those ways is obvious, and everyone knows that. And actually, if you think about it, these 3 ways actually apply to any automobile sales, motorcycle sales, or anything of that nature. But these are the only 3 ways that an RV dealer can make money. Number 1 is negotiating the sticker price. That's the most obvious one. That's why when you go to a dealer and you see the manufacturer suggested price, they usually take off money from that, and then they have a sticker price, a window sticker price, and then you negotiate down and you think you got a great deal because they came down even lower than that. Well, there's also two other ways that they can actually make money from your transaction. The second way, not a lot of people know about, is through financing. RV dealers, and actually most automobile dealers, they have partnerships with finance companies. So if they get you financed, then they get a cut of that financing. So they have wiggle room on the interest rates and also the payments because they are going to get their cut from the financing. They always want to check to see if they can run your credit. Good credit, bad credit, no credit, crazy credit, bankruptcy, 5,000 maxed out credit cards. We got you. We can get you financed. And the third way that a dealer can make money off your transaction is through your trade. So, obviously they are going to resell your trade and they're going to try to get as much profit off of that trade as they can. So they've got a little bit of wiggle room when they work in your sticker price, your financing, and your trade. But those are the three ways that an RV dealer can make money off of your transaction. What was the fourth thing we learned at the RV show? Thing number 4 that we learned was, it goes back to the trade-in thing. When we were looking at coaches or RVs, when a salesman would talk to us and they found out we actually had an RV currently, they automatically went to trade-in mode, and all of them said the same thing when they found out we had a toy hauler. We would love to have your toy hauler on the lot. Toy haulers are selling so fast. And, that kind of made us feel good at first, right? We were like, you know what? Oh, so our toy hauler is going to go fast if we want to trade this thing in. People want our toy hauler. How privileged are we to have a toy hauler? But then all we would do, see, what happens is the rooms that these guys use are actually the RVs that people can actually walk through. So you'll have salesmen selling to people in the RV and signing paperwork. And as we were walking through these RVs, as they were actually making sales, we could audibly hear these salesmen saying this exact same thing to the people that were actually purchasing the unit. So they were telling these guys, no matter if it was a travel trailer, 1993 travel trailer, they would go, oh, that's vintage. That thing will go fast. We'd love to have it on your lot. Oh, you have an old coach, a Winnebago coach that's actually gas powered and it gets about 3 miles to the gallon. We'd love to have that on our lot. So it didn't matter what it was. They would always say, we'd love to have that on our lot, to make you think you've got something and to make you think they want to purchase your trade-in. So I wanted to leave that out there for you, and that's just a little tidbit. Every one of the RV dealers that we talked to, it's almost like they were trained in a script. So, hey, we would love to have your RV on our lot. And thing number 5 that we learned at the Hershey RV show. The last day, at the last hour of the show, if you're truly looking for a new RV and you want one, that is the time to buy. At the last hour of the show, on the last day, remember we actually went on the last day of the show. The last hour, the activity picked up so much. The salesmen, you could tell they were in almost desperation mode trying to make sales. And which gave a lot of validity to what we were told about the manufacturers, these dealers getting these units really for free or on loan while they're at the show. They were trying to sell these things so they didn't have to take them back and they didn't have to hire drivers to actually drive them back to the dealership. Now, for example, we actually looked at a coach. It was actually a Discovery 40G. It's one of the only coaches we found that actually would fit our family and fit our lifestyle pretty much, right?
It's one of the only Class A's with a bunkhouse in it.
Yeah, it's
the only that I know of.
They have a couple more, yeah, bunk room. It's the only Class A coach that actually has a bunk room. And it's a very nice coach, but you're looking at a sticker price of about $270,000, something like that. We had looked at this coach before and we had almost, we'd done some paperwork to actually buy it. But it's a good thing we didn't, because our channel would no longer be about living this lifestyle on a budget. It would be about us sitting still paying for a fancy rig that we don't get to enjoy because we can't afford to do anything with it. Hopefully that makes sense. However, when we go to these shows, we still like to wheel and deal. We'd like to figure out what we can get this coach for if we really wanted it.
In 3 or 4 years, if we want to go back to the show.
Right, in 3 or 4 years, if we want to go back to the show, we kind of know how to do it. Well, at the last hour of the show, these salesmen were getting so desperate, they just came to us and they basically said make an offer. Because it had like $270 on the sticker price, but we had looked at a 2019 model and they were telling us we could get it out of the door for $250. And this guy said he wouldn't counter that. He said just make an offer. He said trust me, if you make an offer, you make a reasonable offer, we will get you in this thing. And it just led me to believe that, you know, these guys on the last day, the last hour, they're getting desperate to sell these things. So if you're in the market for a brand new RV, what I would encourage you to do is either visit the Hershey RV show, hold off for 12 months, and visit this show on the last day and make an offer in the last hour. And I can almost guarantee that you're going to get the best price out of anywhere in the country. All right, so here's a tip, a pro tip if you will. It costs $55 to actually take your rig and park overnight at the Hershey RV show. However, parking for the day is free. So you can actually take your rig to the parking lot and park for free. So we actually parked our rig, we took our rig into the parking lot, we parked for free. So here's the tip. If you just want to go for a day or two, then just take your rig, stay in the parking lot, you know, go in, look around for a while, eat lunch in your rig because the walk wasn't that far. And if you really want to, Stephanie says I shouldn't say this, but if you really want to, you could park during the day at the show, don't pay anything, and then just boondock at, or Walmart, what is it called? Waldock? Waldocking?
Wherever.
You can overnight it at Walmart, the nearest Walmart, and then come back the next day and just park in the parking lot. So you don't have to have a reservation at a nearby campground because those things fill up fast. You're probably never going to get one unless you book it right now. And you don't have to pay $55 a night to stay at the actual RV show. Just park during the day, park your rig in the normal parking lot during the day, just like we did. You can do that. And then stay somewhere else. At night, come back the next morning. So there you have it. Those are the 5 tips that we learned from the Hershey, Pennsylvania RV show, the largest RV show in the world, we think. And if you have any more tips that you'd like to add to this, I want you to comment down below because I really want people to get value out of this, especially if they're looking to buy a brand new RV. If you're an RV dealer and you'd like to correct anything that we heard at this show, and if you think it's complete BS, then let us know in the comments. And take care. We'll see you next time.